7 o'clock this morning, the Post Street Bridge is set to close today for the next 2 years. Detours you should know about during your morning commute. Rumors of protests continue to pop up across the country. This morning, our Verify team breaks down which rumors and viral claims are true.
And it looks like there's no shortage of sunshine so far this morning, but I am still tracking another chance for a shower or thunderstorm later on today.
Up with KREM begins now.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us here on Up with KREM. Spokane County has not been approved to move into Phase 3 of the state's reopening plan. Of course, Phase 3 would permit larger crowds, the reopening of gyms, movie theaters, bars, and a number of other restrictions being lifted. So this morning, we continue our conversation with Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward about the plan to move forward. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
I want to ask you, Mayor Woodward, if we have seen any connection between the ongoing protests and any new coronavirus-related cases.
That's a really good question. According to our health district, they are not seeing any increase in cases that are directly related to the protests that we've had now for the last 3 weeks. So we've had thousands of people, together, close quarters, marching, and most of them, I would say, have been wearing masks, which I think is extremely important as they exercise their right to free speech and the freedom to assemble. So, but I think we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to see if there is any direct correlation between an uptick in cases. Right now, most of those cases that we're seeing have been isolated or connected to a long-term care facility or a workplace, and there has not been a huge amount of community spread. So that's the positive on all of this.
I also want to ask you, Mayor Woodward, earlier this morning we asked if you believe the county is ready to move to Phase 3, and you said you do believe so. But also earlier this week we spoke with Dr. Bob Lutz, who says that he does not believe we're quite ready because the numbers don't look good. He referenced hospitalization data. And I want to ask you if you're confident that the county could move forward in the foreseeable future if Dr. Lutz says he doesn't believe it's going to happen anytime soon.
Well, and let's face it, Dr. Lutz is the authority. He is the health authority during this health pandemic. So it doesn't matter what I say. If the doctor says that we're not ready, it takes his sign-off approval. It takes the health board to approve it. It takes our hospitals to also sign a letter of support. But I will continue to advocate because this is where I believe we are in a position, why we're in a position to move to Phase 3. Yes, we've had an increase in cases beyond what our metrics show we should be for a county our size. So a county our size at 500,000 people, we should not have more than 25 cases per 100,000 people. So 125 cases a week. We've had more than that. But that's because it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. We're only going after and testing those through contact tracing, people that we know have been exposed to somebody who is positive. So, of course, you're going to have more positive cases, and your percentage is going to be higher because you're only going after those people who you believe are positive. What we really need is more broad-based testing in our community. That's how you find the true assessment of what COVID looks like in a community, and we're still not doing that. But regardless of the fact that our cases have gone up higher than even the state metrics want us to, our hospitalizations are still fairly low. We have surge capacity. We have not overwhelmed the healthcare system, and our death rate has not continued to spike. So we're in a good place. It's time for us to open.
Mayor Woodward, I want to ask you, just last month you joined us here on Up with KREM and told us as we were waiting to move into Phase 2 that many businesses were sort of hanging on by a thread waiting for that move. What are your conversations like now with local business owners?
Well, many of them who were able to open, especially the restaurants and the hospitality industry, were very happy to even be able to open up their doors to 50% capacity. But if you know anything about the restaurant business, that's still not enough. I mean, their profit margin is 6%. So opening at 50% does not generate enough income for them to even be able to make it, but at least it gave them hope that if they opened up their doors, they could at least start making some kind of income. But it's still not enough. And in Phase 3, 75% is barely enough. So we have businesses that have been allowed to open under phase 2, but are still barely surviving. We have gotten somewhat creative in allowing them to offer more capacity with our streeteries and allowing them to be on the sidewalks without having to go through the full permitting process, and even into parking lots, getting special events permits to close down streets to offer more capacity. And now that the weather is nicer, I think they'll be able to exercise that. So I think that will help. But bottom line is, we still need to get more of these businesses open and more of our people back to work.
Mayor Woodward, we want to thank you for joining us here on Up with KREM and for taking these questions this morning. And of course, we want to encourage people to keep writing and letting us know your questions. Mayor Woodward, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's check in with our own Thomas Patrick for a look outside this morning.
Yeah, and there's a lot of sunshine outside, which is just fantastic out there for this morning. We've seen so much cloud cover, so much June gloom, if you will, that sunshine is a really nice change of pace. Should warm things up pretty soon here, still reporting 50 degrees as of the 7 o'clock hour, which is a little bit on the cool side, but I'll tell you what, the scene behind the graphic there just looks phenomenal over Spokane. So we'll warm things up pretty quickly today. This is just where we stand right now, which is just about our low temperature or a couple degrees above it from the past hour. Now, all that yicky, subpar April weather, that's that low pressure system that's over Idaho, and it's moving away from us. So less widespread cloud cover, more sunshine in the forecast for the coming days, but not completely dry. Looking great for this morning, a very pleasant morning, if you will. So if you're looking to get a walk or a jog out there this morning, that's the time to do it, because the afternoon comes with a chance of thunderstorms, more of the pop-up variety. So I'll be tracking that and just how soon and quickly that's going to leave our area and what we can expect for not only the first day of summer, but the Father's Day weekend, of course. That's all coming up in just a few moments. And here's a live look at some of the traffic cams outside, seeing a few more cars out on the streets this morning, but just be cautious for a little bit more patchy fog that we've noted through the morning hours. If you come across that fog, do make sure to turn your headlights to on.
All right, Thomas, thank you so much. Well, starting today, a bridge in downtown Spokane is closing for construction. Nicole Hernandez is joining us now from the Post Street Bridge. She'll tell us what is planned and how to get around all of that work. Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning, Jen. So the Post Street Bridge here has been open for people walking and biking for a while now, but starting today, the bridge will be completely closed for the next 2 years. So I want to give you a look at this map here. Take a look at these different ways around that closure. People should use the Monroe Street Bridge or the Howard Street Bridge on either side of Post Street to get across the river. Drivers should also know that parking on either side of the bridge will also be partly closed. This is also that crews can replace the Post Street Bridge. The construction is part of a $70 million 2020 plan to revamp this whole area. In the end, the bridge will have a northbound lane for cars, walking, and bike lanes, and will be a part of the Centennial Trail and help finish the Great Gorge Loop Trail. Now, this bridge here has been here for over 100 years, built in 1917 and then widened again in 1937. So part of this whole process is to make sure that as they put up this new bridge, that it'll still have that kind of historic feel to it, and it'll keep the arches that the Post Street Bridge is known for. Live in Spokane, I'm Nicole Hernandez.
All right, Nicole, thank you so much. Let's check in now, Dana Marie McNichol, for a look at what's trending on our Wednesday morning. Hi, Dana Marie.
Hi, Jen. We're talking about Washington counties moving into phase 3 of reopening this morning. Governor Jay Inslee posted a map yesterday writing that Pacific County in Western Washington was just approved to phase 3. This is the map there you see right behind me. Before we get into those details, we do want you to join our conversation though this morning. Is Spokane County ready to reopen into phase 3? Let us know by voting in our KREM 2 mobile app. You have already voted this morning. 54% of you are saying no. Almost split right down the middle, but for those who have voted, we thank you for joining this conversation. So there are a couple of interesting observations from this map that I do want to point out. As you can see, Spokane and Adams County are in phase 2. The counties in green are all in phase 3, which include most counties in the inland northwest. So Monday, Spokane Health Officer Bob Lutz says we're still seeing too many cases to move into phase 3 right now. Moving into that phase means places like gyms, pools, and bars are allowed to open with limited capacity. Theaters and places like museums are also allowed to reopen. Now, with that being said, let's compare Spokane to Yakima County, which is the county hit worse by coronavirus. It's still in phase 1 of reopening. Leaders say it's because of few hot spots like long-term care facilities and agriculture. Yesterday, Governor Jay Inslee visited the county. He said it's actually the first time he's traveled since the beginning of the pandemic. Governor Jay Inslee called the region the current epicenter of the virus.
And every week they show us what the curve will look like if something doesn't change. And for Yakima Valley, it is terrifying because that curve just goes up just as dramatically as it was in March. But the fact of the matter is we just have to up our game. Our current game is not on the winning column.
Now, Inslee gave no timeline on when the county may move forward, but back here locally, we are asking you, is Spokane County ready to move into phase 3 of reopening? Let us know by voting in our live poll on KREM.com/vote or on the KREM 2 mobile app. I mean, I can't even think about the last time I went to a restaurant normally. I think it was March 11th or 12th. Jen, do you remember the last time?
It's been some time, that's for sure, as we navigate this whole reopening process. But as you can imagine, our poll about 50-50, so there are people who are comfortable maybe going out. There's others, though, certainly comfortable staying home. So yeah, that's something we continue to invite you at home to weigh in this morning. Let us know how you feel. Really just split down the middle this morning, Dana Marie.
Yep. Thank you for those who voted this morning.
All right, still to come here on Up with KREM. A viral claim is shaking things up on the internet this week. Take a look.
3 of our fellow officers were intentionally poisoned by 1 or more workers at the Shake Shack at 200 Broadway in Manhattan. So did Shake Shack employees intentionally poison NYPD officers Monday night?
Coming up, our Verified team explains why this claim and many more are false.
And it looks like a beautiful Wednesday across Spokane and all of the inland Northwest, but I'm still tracking a few chances for rain and thunderstorms throughout the rest of this week.